It's up in the air.
Absolutely, they're gonna match colors. They're gonna be really, they're gonna be fuchsia.
Great shot.
Fuchsia, I like that.
But
It's a new
eventually,
team color.
when the permanent one's on here, then you're saying don't match.
They're gonna be blue.
No longer black and gold.
Changing her speed.
All right, welcome to the August 22nd, 2024 Southeast Polk School Board meeting. We'll go ahead and call this meeting to order. Can I get roll call?
Brett,
Here?
Bridget,
Here.
Kelly,
Here.
Lori, Rick, Whitney,
Here.
Chad,
Here. All right. 1B, agenda adoption. Dr. Lipnick, are there any changes?
Yes, we need to omit item 3D, the ISAS update. The state has not released that data yet. We don't have a timeline, so that gets pushed.
All right.
Second.
Thank you. Karen?
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes. All right, 1C, district vision and mission. Do we have a volunteer or?
Should we have our
Sure.
students start?
Sure. It's up on the wall.
Yeah, you need it.
Yeah. Okay. Southeast Polk Community School Districts will learn, lead, live, success for college, career, and civic life. Engage all students in learning a challenging curriculum delivered through quality instruction.
Thank you. Thanks for volunteering to do that.
We call that volunteer.
Being voluntold.
Yeah.
All right, if you would stand for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you much. All right, now it's time for public comments. If anybody would like to come up and speak. Phyllis, we'll give you 5 minutes if you want. You want to talk
It could be a
about,
whole-
you want to talk about the next historical society? Yeah. The next historical society thing, because it has something to do with schools, I heard.
Philip Murphy, 607 4th Street Southeast, Altoona, Iowa. Yes, we would like to invite any of you anytime to come up to the Historical Society. We've had some displays that were changing. Mark Dykstra, who was a former employee here too. We have been updating not just the Altoona schools, but for all Southeast Polk. So we have 25 photos up there, and we're going to have a presentation on it sometime, but probably not until after the first of the year. Now, this Tuesday, on the 27th, we will have a presentation on the history and memories of when Altoona was just Altoona. There's a lot of history back there. In fact, I just took a tour that had graduated in 52, and they had a lot of memories. I wish they would be here for that, but they live in Florida, so they can't do that. But anyway, it's just very informal and it's all free. And we just ask different ones to give their memories and some things that happened. One thing that that this gentleman said was that he remembers when Altoona Elementary was just the high school. Of course, they had the elementaries downstairs, but this was up at the old high school. And he said, see those ledges? And that's when they used to have to lift the windows up for the air. And he said, we used to sit out there during lunch hour and smoke. Anyway, things have changed. And then he also told us that he would go down around where the janitor's building was or doorway, and they'd smoke there too. So things have changed, but he had nothing but good thoughts about his experience while living in Altoona. And that, so
Nice.
anyway, so you're invited anytime, and we have it open on Saturdays from 10 until 2. So come up and check things out, okay?
This next Tuesday, 6:30, right?
The
For Altoona High
27th.
School?
27th, and it'll be at 6 o'clock.
All right. Thank
Yes.
you very much. Sorry to put you on the spot again. All right, anybody else want to talk about it? Nobody? All right, moving right along. 1F consent agenda. Anybody have any questions, concerns? Nothing? Okay,
Motion to approve.
Second?
second. Karen?
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
All right, item 2A, confirmation of next meeting, which is, thought I'd have it pulled up fast enough.
September 5th.
Yep, September 5th and 19th with homecoming on September 27th. Do a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Thank you. That was Whitney and Chad, if you didn't get that, Karen.
thank you. Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
All right, 2B, this would be the second read of the policies that we talked about last meeting.
I'll move to approve the policies.
I'll second.
Any questions on anything again?
I went through and the updates were made, so I appreciate that and I think everything looks good.
All right, Karen?
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
All right. 2C, this will be for the school resource officer. This is the agreement with Pleasant Hill for the 2024-25 school year.
Motion to approve the SRO agreement with the city of Pleasant Hill for 2024-2025 school year.
Second.
Thank you. Were there a lot of changes or status quo? I didn't see, nothing stood out anyway.
There weren't any substantive changes to the agreement, just the dollars, and then also the removal of Spring Creek from the.
Okay. And this is kind of a side note, we've already done the one with Altoona for the new middle school, then
Correct.
that's why it's not, okay,
Yeah, we'll try to align those next year, so it comes at one
Okay.
time.
thank you. All right, Karen?
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
2D, this is for the middle school project for Central States roofing, substantial completion. Do a motion?
A motion for the board to accept the certificate of substantial completion for Central States Roofing for roof work for the middle school project.
Second.
Thank you. Any questions? Karen?
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad, Brett,
Asteroids or something. Steve, you playing asteroids back there on your phone? Yeah. Okay, let's check. All right, where were we? I'm sorry.
Did you vote? Yeah.
Oh, yes. All right, 2E, this is for the middle school for construction substantial completion certificate.
I motion that the board accept the certificate of substantial completion for core construction for structure work for the middle school project.
Second.
Okay, thank
I have a
you.
question.
Yep.
Do we need to read out that part or can we just say like motion to approve? Just to expedite.
you sick of hearing me
I think you need to read that out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You want to read it, the whole thing? You want to?
It wasn't about you. It was.
Sure. You didn't ask.
we-
Because we have so many more to do.
Is there 10 of them?
Yeah, just try to expedite things.
I'm sorry, I started the trend.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly.
You're welcome.
You were first, so.
All right, Karen?
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes. All right, 2F, middle school project Elite Glass Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve.
Second.
You sure? All right, Karen.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
2G, middle school project Graphite Construction Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve.
Second.
Karen.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
All right, 2H, middle school project Crook Plumbing and Heating Company Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve. Second.
Karen.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
2I, middle school project Sandstone Management LTD Substantial Completion Certificate.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Karen.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
2J, middle school project Schumacher Elevator Company Substantial Completion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Thank you. Karen.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
2K, this is for the middle school project Seedorf Masonry Incorporated Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve. Second.
who said that?
I was moved to approve. Bridget was
Whitney and
second.
Bridget.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
All right, 2L, middle school project Van Manen Electric Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve.
Second.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
2M, middle school project Communication Innovators Substantial Completion Certificate.
Move to approve.
Second.
Karen.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
And 2M, this is for the middle school project Seedorf Masonry Incorporated. This is for the final completion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Karen.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Okay. 2O, this is for the middle school project Schumacher Elevator Company final completion.
Move to approve. Second.
Karen.
Kelly,
Yes.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
All right, and last but not least, for the 2P, we'll set the hearing for the Mid-American Energy easement on September 5th, 2024.
Motion to set the public hearing for September 5th, 2024 for utility easement at the skills trade building site for Mid-American Energy.
Second.
Thank you. Karen.
Whitney,
Yes.
Chad,
Yes.
Brett,
Yes.
Bridget,
Yes.
Kelly,
Yes.
All right, moving on, topics for discussion and superintendent's report.
Good evening, some good news and highlights. the last month. Most of these focus on the back to school and beginning of the school year events. Last week we had the new teachers luncheon, that great 60 this year, full of a lot of energy and impossibly young. Then obviously on Thursday, we had the all-staff breakfast and welcome back, always a great morning. And this year we got to learn a little bit more about the board. So that was an even double bonus there, but good to have everybody back together. The Taste of SEP really stepped up their game this year. Thank you to the vendors and the chamber for that. The SEP night at the ballpark, we had staff members shoot the hot dog cannon, involved in the burger race, throw out their first pitch. Black and Gold night this past Tuesday. I think they set a record for the largest crowd in Black and Gold night history is what I was told. So as always, our community came out. First day of school tomorrow for the middle school. It's their actual first day of school. You know, the question has come out, and I think it's been in the media a lot. Why are we having a 1-day week? And it's that state law that says we can't start until the 23rd of August. And if we didn't do that, the way the calendar lines up, it pushes us out of the month of May on the other end. And of course, we want to be done in the month of May with all of our school business. So just kind of some of the normal first day things. Transportation is always one of those things that has people anxious and concerned with new configuration and new routes. It's kind of added extra to that. But as usual, we ask for patience, and we will also have extra buses and drivers around in case there are spots where more kids show up than we expected, and we'll be able to adjust to that as we go on from there. So, and kind of related to that, I was really happy to see this afternoon. I actually drove down it for the first time about 3 o'clock, 8th Street between here and the new middle school. That construction for the road itself is complete. All of the construction materials are removed from the area. The cones are down and traffic is open in all lanes both ways. So just in time for school tomorrow morning. So that was good to see. And that's my brief update for tonight. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
We're gonna have crossing guards at all three of
We will
the,
have crossing guards at the crossing areas.
I saw,
20th and Falcon.
I saw two that have actual lights. One's pretty good, a substantial lighting thing, and then the other one is just the pedestrian.
If one of the lights is not up yet, that won't be up until next week.
Is that the one at the roundabout?
I
That's the one
can't-
that didn't have it, so
maybe.
the one on
Yeah.
the west side of the roundabout, or anyway, one of those missing.
Yeah, yeah, it gets installed next Tuesday or Wednesday.
Gotcha.
Do you know if transportation has a plan for as far as answering, because I know that is just a big nightmare on the first day, and I get it. But is there a plan for answering phones and everything for like missing kids? My son was
Yep,
like
in
missing
fact,
for an hour last year, and I couldn't get anybody answer the phone, so I
Sure.
finally got with the principal.
Jeannie Christensen put some stuff out on our website and on Facebook even this evening right before the meeting here addressing communication.
Y'all ready to go?
Anything else for Dr. Movement? All right,
Thanks.
thank you. And enrollment update.
Brief, there's not a ton to report that looks a whole lot different than it looked before, other than the idea that there are a lot of these numbers are just bigger than they used to be. Like, I'll give you, for instance, in the last 2 days, I say we, and it's not me, it's Deb Starcevich has worked with the families of 42 elementary students who are newly registered, just walked in and say, hey, we live here. So she's really been hopping and done a really nice job of sort of spreading the students as much as possible across the page so that we're not seeing, huge gluts of students in schools, and then the one next door has very few. She does a really good job of that. I want to commend her right away. Second person I want to commend actually was from earlier. Every town needs Phyllis Murphy. I'm just convinced of it, when she was talking about the things that they're up to and the history behind all those things. what she doesn't remember, I'm sure she read in Dr. Sand's book a long time ago, and those things are as true now as they were then, and just appreciate that. But in terms of enrollment, we're still up around 100 students, 103. And again, really, really good growth that kind of gets I guess the kudos for all that go to our communities and go to the municipalities who make themselves a desirable place for people to live. And it sure makes it a whole lot easier to work here than it might be in other places that are not such a destination like we are. So we for sure know we're spoiled. But it's been, like I said, big adventure the last few days. I can't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow's the second best day of the year. The best day is the last day of school, but the second best day is the first day of school. So I'm excited for that. I'm excited to see kids, on buses and going in and out of schools and stuff like that. And I know our staff is too. That's been kind of the I don't know, maybe one of their mantras that they've been talking about is being anxious for kids to come and putting their skills to work. That's for sure. But enrollment looks good. I would say in kindergarten, it's a little bit higher than maybe we all would like. And by a little bit, I mean, kind of our benchmark is 20, and we're going to be up around 22 at the biggest. So it's a little bit bigger, but not, out of whack. And then throughout the rest of the classrooms, we're really looking at elementary classrooms. We're looking at 27, which is a good number. It's kind of being the lid that we've been able to use so far this year. With obviously most schools or most sections being quite smaller than 27, with an overall average of 22, which again, we've been on that number for a long time. And that's I like that number. That's a good one. Any questions about enrollment? I told you I'd be brief, and I wasn't. I was a little brief, I guess.
It's pretty good.
It's Phyllis's fault. Being awesome.
Now, just with Clay, obviously everybody knows that's kind of I don't even know what the right word to use, but out of control.
Hotspot.
Population.
Well, I hope it's not. I hope it's very much in control.
Well, I mean, as far as like the 27s, if we keep getting
yeah,
more,
we'll see a lot more 27s at Clay
yeah,
than anywhere else.
Obviously if let's say we had, the way they're building over there throughout the year, those start getting into the 30s. Do we have extra classrooms that we could make another section if we had to?
I'd have to really look at it, but extra, to call it extra, I would say no. But could there be a classroom that could be converted or something like that? Possibly. But yeah, you're right. That whole sort of like the whole Clay area, the whole Clay boundary area there's a lot of growth going on there. And luckily we haven't tipped over yet, but we can see the tip over point.
Any other questions for Mr. Holden?
Nope.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Advanced placement update.
Evening board. So like, I guess all falls, it seems like I'm here again to present AP data, and it seems like every year I come back in and I'm more excited about this year's data than the previous years. So the last several years have been great, and this past year's was even better than that. So I'm going to go through a handful of the slides that I've typically have provided, obviously with this year's updates. And then if there's any questions along the way, we can always stop and talk about that. So again, just to go through what this slide is again, is this tells you how many kids have been enrolled in AP courses to start the second semester, how many kids ended up taking exams at the end of the semester, I call this participation rate then, the number of kids that participated in the exams compared to who started this semester. So 93.33% of the kids that started the semester in January took the exam. And as you can see, that's by far better than we've ever done.
Yeah.
That's tremendous, is to have that many kids at the end of the semester feeling confident enough that they want to pay to take an exam that they hopefully can score high enough where they can earn some credit, right? It's a risk, but 93.3% of our kids felt like it was a risk that they wanted to pay for. I mean, that's awesome. If you look here, there's some gaps, right? We had a big jump right after 2014, which is the number of kids that took AP exams. So I'm always going to leave the 2014, 2015 kind of rows there, just so you can kind of see where we were before the big jump and then that first year. And then obviously I'll just continue with 2019 until I run out of rows. Okay.
What happened in that big jump here?
We did the high school study. We brought in a couple more AP courses. We created the honors diploma. We just really made a push towards college career readiness. So it was just a lot of really good things that happened kind of in that 2014 going to 2015 year. And we probably had a really big jump, and it's subsided a little bit, but it's really maintained really good numbers.
Yep.
I'm
since-
looking at the data from the COVID years too, and you still have fairly good participation in those years.
Right, right.
What's the graduates column?
Like, what's that number right there?
Yeah, what does that represent?
It's hidden. I don't know.
No, well, the number is 581, but what's that column represent? What's the graduates? Are those people who graduated
This was the
and took
number.
the AP exam?
Total, yeah, the class.
Okay,
Um,
so then you
I
have,
actually,
Okay, got it.
that's just the number of kids that graduated last
Okay.
year.
okay,
Okay,
Okay, and the AP index, just to remind you what that is, that's the number of exams taken in a given year divided by the graduates. It's not just the exams taken by the graduates, it's all the school divided by the graduates.
so,
There's a Bell and Blank that gives out an award every year being in the top 50. And we've been in the top 50 for several years in a row in the state. It's an estimate because we haven't gotten the official result back yet.
I don't know if you just answered this question, but out of the students who took the exam, how many got a 3 or above? That's
coming.
so that's why.
Get to it.
Gotcha. It's probably-
So this next one is more of just a frequency distribution. You know, again, back when we first started giving this presentation, there was a concern when we had more kids that take exams. Was it just the same number of kids taking more exams, or was it actually more kids? So you can see last year we had 286 total kids take those 420 exams. And you can kind of see how many exams kids took at different grade levels. Okay. So this is I can move this, Jason. I'll let you get it out of the way, please. Yeah, put it in the very top. Yeah, that'd be great, please. Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so this is the slide that says the most. It has the information from the 2022 year. That's that grayed out row at top. Then the next year, 2023. Last year's was 2024. So that is our passing rate. That's the percentage of kids that got a 3 or higher on each exam. If it is green, then that means we have a higher passing rate than the Iowa average, which is the next to bottom row, and the global average, which is the bottom row. If it's yellow, then that means we were higher than one of those two averages. If it's red, which we don't have any that are red, then that means that we were lower than both the Iowa and the global. So as you look across that, there's a ton of green. In the very last column, 87.6% of our exams were passed this year, which is the highest we've ever had.
Okay.
2 years ago, 85.2 was the highest we had ever had. But those 3 years, I think, are the only 3 years we've been in the 80s.
Mhm.
Again, that's just tremendous. You look at the Iowa average at 69.7
Yeah.
and 87 points. I mean, that's not even close.
Mm.
Okay, and
It's
again,
really good.
it's not like it's just one test we're doing well in. I mean, we're getting consistent in the high 80s and 90s across the board. This row here, you can just see the frequency of how many exams were taken at each one of those courses to get to that 420. 99 of our students, or 99 of our exams were the top score of fives. So that row is just how many fives we got on each one of those exams. So we got a 5 in every single one of our exams, and we had 22 fives in AP psychology.
It's a lot of fives.
It's a lot of fives.
Steve, is the CSP the new computer science? one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Yep. CSP is computer science principles.
This is the first year that they've just had the one, right?
Yeah, we've had 2, and then we kind of phased into the 1, and yeah. And again, some, percentages sometimes are a little tricky,
Mhm.
right? I mean, if you only have 10 kids that take the exam, and if 1 kid doesn't pass, then obviously the best you can do is 90%. 2 kids, it's 80, right? So,
Mhm.
if you have a low number of students that take the exams, if 1 or 2 students does not get a 3 or above,
Mhm.
then your percentages might not be super high. I mean, Calc BC, 78.6%. I mean, that's a pretty high percentage, not compared to some of the other ones, but we only had 3 kids not get a 3 or above, and those other kids got 2s.
Right.
So really, really proud of our staff, our kids. Those are great numbers. This kind of takes it to a kind of a passing rate, exams taken, the average score. So you can kind of see average scores and the number of fives that we had for each one of those years. So again, 99 is one of the tops we've ever had. Again, there's some hidden years, 16, 17, 18. I think one of those years we had above 100 fives, but regardless, you can kind of see, passing rate was really high, highest it's been. Last 3 years we're in the 80s. Highest average score, one of the top numbers of fives we've ever had. AP Scholar, it's a I guess a level of award that the College Board gives. The descriptions are there. The National AP Scholar is actually something they do not recognize officially anymore. We still recognize that. We have plaques in the Commons for all 4 of these distinction levels. The national one is the one that has the picture on it. We didn't have any students that scored at that level, but again, to get that level, it's really high. I mean, it's really, really hard. It's just, you have to score like a 4 or better in like 8 exams. I mean, it's just a really complicated thing to do, but we had 36 kids, and this was in the graduating class. So 36 kids in this graduating class were AP scholars, and that's their different levels. So we just surpassed the 500 number. So in the history of Southeast Polk, there's been 502 AP scholars.
Nice.
This is more cohort data. So this is by graduation class. So this class of 2024, of the 581 graduates, 160 kids took exams. That's a little bit lower rate, but a pretty high passing rate.
Mhm.
Okay, again, these kids did have COVID at some point during their careers. Could have had an impact. 27.5% is still higher than what it was before our jump at 24.2. But if I were to look at kind of target areas, that would be one. I don't know what the magic percentage of participation in exams should be when it comes to the graduates. But I would like it to be back up in the 30s to mid 30s or higher. So if we're talking about a focal area, that would be one. That would be good. And then these are our current enrollments as of when I put this presentation together. I think I updated the data like yesterday, just on my own records, and it's not 610, it's actually like 607, but I mean, it's right there. So we are starting the school year with just over 600 kids in AP courses, which is higher than we've been the last couple of years. And you can kind of see, where we have some increases, AP bio. our AP bio teacher's pretty nervous, because usually it's like one section, and now she's got 3 sections of AP bio, so 60-ish kids are taking AP bio. That's really awesome. You know, kids recently in AP bio have done really, really well. If I slide back some of these slides and you just look at the AP bio passing rates, it's pretty darn good, right? So, but still 65 is a big jump compared to only having one section of 17 last year, right? So that's a big increase. You know, kind of a big increase here in AP Human Geography. AP Human Geography is the AP course that we're offering at the junior high. So I think it's like 20-ish kids are taking that at the high school. I think we just have one section at the high school, but I think there's 3 sections of it for 9th graders at the junior high. The teacher that's teaching it at the junior high taught it at the high school last year. We intentionally had 2 teachers teach human geography last year, preparing for this transition.
Mhm.
So it's not going to be her first year teaching it. She taught it this past year.
So next year, are you thinking of breaking it out with the 9th graders? Just getting us more detail of how those 9th graders did with making
Yeah.
a different building or?
Well, there'll be some slides, right? That, you know, how
We
many
always have
9th grade kids took
Yeah.
it. You know, there's some protections of just kids when it comes to how individual kids did. So I'm not sure if I will break down the scores into, but that's something I look at, right?
Okay.
You know, when it comes to, I don't dig too deeply into it, because again, our kids have been doing really, really well. But if we
Right.
had, you know, multiple teachers teaching the same course, honestly, we've had that,
Mhm.
and there's been pretty consistent. You know, they do a really good job collaborating, but because they're in 2 buildings, that would be something to,
Yeah, I just find it
Potentially look at.
interesting because they'll be able to, I think the 9th graders will be able to focus more and not have as many distractions as they might whenever they're freshmen in the big school, you know, so it'd just be something to look at.
yeah, it would absolutely, it's a different makeup of the class, because last year in human geography, I don't know, let's say 1/3 to half of the kids were 9th graders and the rest weren't 9th graders blended together. And now it's all 9th grade kids. So yeah, that is going to be something to look at.
It'd be interesting.
So that is what I have for you. Do you have any other questions?
Really great data and data from a lot of hard work from your staff and you, and
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do a great job. And I say this, I think every year, we have a portion of our teaching staff that in the summer after the school year is over, go and they're AP graders. So they go to different places across the country. They're paid by the College Board to do that. But it's the greatest professional development that they can have, because they're around other people that teach the course, and they have lots of collaborative conversations. They learn a lot. I think this past year we had 5 of our teachers go to, whether it was Orlando, Cincinnati, Kansas City, other types of places where they kind of host these grading parties or whatever they want to call them. But they really think it's great. And we've had several people that have gone multiple years in a row and will continue to go.
It'd be great to hear from them. You
Well, we
know?
had a couple of them come last year. I think Matt Parker and Eric Greving, 2
Yep.
of our teachers
Yes,
came
right.
last year. They both were graders and they did come
Yeah.
last year. And that's what, you know, they continue. We meet every year as an AP staff, kind of at the beginning of the year, go through this presentation, kind of just collaborate, and they continue to try to, I don't encourage their colleagues to try that. It's hard. I mean, it's 7 days away from your family. I mean, that's a tough thing to do, especially right when school's out.
Yeah.
But several of our staff have made that.
You know, I think it's really interesting because having students take AP courses and then take the tests and everything, it's not just a high school thing. It starts, you know, in kindergarten all the way up, and seeing, you know, the way that our school kind of molds students. You know, we have really good sports, we have really good, you know, band and all of that. And we have really good education too. And it's neat to see how much effort we put into our students.
I agree.
So,
Yeah, it's the well-rounded comprehensive high school,
It really
you know, and
is.
it's not just the high school, right? It's all the feeder
it's the
programs
whole
that bleed into
group.
that, right? So
Yep.
yeah, I couldn't say it better. I agree.
Yeah.
Well, and the community. We have
I
a
mean,
really,
yeah, pretty
obviously,
awesome,
yeah,
yeah.
it's just kind of you give us a lot to be proud of, so.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys. All right.
Okay. All right, anything else for the? Hearing none? All right, got a motion to adjourn?
motion to adjourn.